Zimbabwe regime was branded a terrorist. I mean, how do you, how you know, take a look at, you know, it becomes something like an opportunity. When President Bush announced a war on terrorists, guess what, you know, so many of these African governments announced that, you know, they are also fighting terrorists in order to receive U.S. aid, when they themselves were the real state terrorists. And as a matter of fact, you know, look, even in Somalia, the warlords who have been terrorizing Mogadishu for years, all of a sudden, you know, formed themselves into a coalition against terrorism and received funding from the CIA. And Charles Taylor of Liberia, you know, he himself founded, you know, set up an anti-terrorist unit run by his own brother. Come on. You know, I have read from the news that the U.S. is going to send drones to Niger, you know, to look for terrorists. Of course, such leaders, you know, are going to use the drones to look for opposition leaders or dissidents, you know, within their own country.
Or peasant farmers.
So it's a very serious and it's very, very worrisome development in Africa.
If I could just address your question directly. If you're talking about U.S. troops being sent to Africa, I wouldn't look for that. We had the president sent 100 advisors to Uganda to look for the LRA, and there was a big problem, hassle getting that done. Sending, you know, AFRICOM troops to Africa to enforce any of these laws, that's not likely at all.
But African soldiers trained by AFRICOM to support the governments that they've described, that's really my concern. That because it'll be, I did my research initially on the force publique. I'm looking at AFRICOM becoming the force publique for the 21st century, where Africans will be hunted down by whoever wants to steal their labor or kill them or take their resources. And it will be done under the name of patriotism, fighting terror, and being in coalition with the U.S. government against terrorism. So no, we don't have to send American soldiers, but if you send them down to the School of the Americas or wherever, and we teach them how to torture and kill, and they go back, will this be used on African people trying to gain their land back that has been taken from them? And that's my fear of Africa.
Well, there's been a lot of criticism of the result of U.S. training of troops in Rwanda. We trained the Rwandans. They went into Congo. We trained the Malians. They overthrew the government.
Yes.
I wouldn't say we necessarily trained them to do that, but they used the training for that purpose. Not to drag this out, because I know other people have questions. I'm part of an organization, the Congressional Africa Staff Association. We work with the Brookings Institution, the Africa Growth Initiative, and we also work with the Wilson Center. And we're working right now on a debate on AFRICOM, which you may be very interested in. So I'll make sure to let everybody know. I want to thank Mel.
Recognition, and their practices deserve respect. And they should be at the table, yes. When they are taken off, not only do they lose their lives, they become day laborers, refugees, but also the world loses the intense wisdom that they have to bring forth from that land something that is sustainable. So I just want to, the members of us who are here from the Oral Studies Association are willing to partner with, and happy to see that people are looking at this all across the continent and the world. And we would like to bring a potent case study forward about the aroma. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I think this gentleman here.
Thank you very much for organizing this conference. Also thank you for the problems you've raised and also for the recommendations that you have already suggested. I'm from the Ethiopian Embassy here in Washington, D.C. Even though, as an Ethiopian government official, I do share the concern of the the points that were raised by the panelists, thank you very much. But there are some factors which I have to correct, which I have to oblige you to correct, because those people may reach into a conclusion that Ethiopia is just selling all land to foreigners. It's better to get the real picture, I believe. First of all, in Ethiopia there are about 75 million hectares of cultivable land. Out of this, it's only 300,000 hectares of land that is being already leased, not sold, leased to foreign investors. Those lands are sparsely populated. So please, put the facts on the ground. Okay? Second, we're not giving them to raise biofuels. No. Only 2% of the land that has been granted to those foreign investors only for biofuels, but the rest is for food production. About 40 to 60% of it is only for local consumption. So I have the responsibility to correct this. Otherwise, my friends here, my Americans here, colleagues may reach into a wrong conclusion. Second, the deals in Ethiopia are transparent. The regional administrations are always consulted. There are no backdoor dealings in Ethiopia. I can assure you that. Villagization in Gambella is not at all related to foreign investment for foreign investors in land. It's only whether we invited foreign investors in land or not, the villagization program would have been possible. It has nothing to do with foreign investors in land. We're just trying to put a voluntary program of putting a scarcely populated, bringing them so that they can share infrastructure, water, clinics, and schools. This is voluntary service. Therefore, please, when you do, don't lap up everything and include Ethiopia as if we're just selling in terms of millions. Get your facts, Professor Ayete. Make a study on Ethiopia. Instead of always engaging in Ethiopia bashing, look at the facts straight.
Sir,
it's always good for us, even if we are going to correct ourselves. Please.
Sir, can you identify yourself, please? Can you identify yourself and your...
It's not really an African issue, it's a worldwide issue. That's very true. And also that I agree with him that, when we talk about African dictators, we know who the dictators are. So we are not really saying the whole Africans. That's for sure something that I wanted to make that very clear. And also to, what you say, I thought your point was very good, that this land did not become partial by accidents. Somebody made it be there, and I think it's excellent. And the issues of the Oromo, as you mentioned as well, is also something that's very serious in Ethiopia. The Oromo are being the majority of the people in the countries, and the governments really have suppressed them so much. So this thing is also going on in the land grabs as well as going on in the Oromia regions. So with all this in, then I can come back to my brother who was saying earlier about the Christmas towards here and this. There is something that I really want to clarify. I can feel your pain, the emotion. But at the end of the day, I can also understand the Western are funding the Ethiopian government. But we cannot really blame all, for everything. There's a way of saying that when you point the finger at somebody, 3 of them come to you. The problem is also could be from us. As I was saying, that from my knowledge, there's no any country that's been freed by other peoples. America cannot free us. So the State Department and other peoples, we know they're funding the Ethiopian government, but at the end of the day, the Ethiopian has to come up for a solution for that and get into that. So I want to come now to the point of these brothers. I made this very clear before. You are talking about the fact. You've seen in the videos. You're talking about the fact. I'm talking about people who are there, who are my family members. I know that you work for the government. And then where you get your salary. This is about the conscience, about morality. What makes us be a human. Not only to speak the language. to put yourself in the shoe of other human beings. The suffering of the people in Ethiopia, I was talking about, and you've seen in the videos. My brother, the video does not lie. People say that they've been forced. You know exactly what Ethiopia is, what kind of government is the government you're representing. You know exactly about the land grabs. This is, your man, Prime Minister who died. He was a Prime Minister of Ethiopia for 21 years. He never set a foot in Gambela, not even once. Can you imagine that the President of America never been in Minnesota? The Ethiopian government, they want the resource, but not the peoples. And we know that. And I don't have to tell you what is not, what's right. Let your conscience be your judgment. Because as I said, that, the people who speak for the government, that their salary, that what it is, at the end of the day, that a young man in the videos, picture that it could be you. Those children could be your children. And so that's why I say there's no debate about this. So, in the overall things, I made it very clearly, again and again. No government will last forever. Leave alone Soviet Union who have a nuclear weapon funded Africans when leave alone a country that based on begging. I just want to say it's very clear to you. Those people in Ethiopia, they are my people, they are your people. We have to find a way to work together and solve the problem. Right. Because it's our problem. Right now you may be on that side and maybe this side. But tomorrow if the government changes, you will be the next refugee in America. Do we really want that? Of course not. So I just want to make it very clear. This land grab, I said it earlier, it is a life grab. Right now it may be grabbing the lives of my family, but not your family. But also at the end of the day, you are not free. Usually, I want to handle this. We run an organization, Solidarity Movement for New Ethiopia. It's a social justice, speak for the right of the all Ethiopian, because we believe that none of us will never be free until we are all free. We believe that we need to have a new Ethiopia where we value the humanity of one of us, humanity before ethnicity. Right now, this brother made it earlier. We have the regime in Ethiopia, we don't want to go to the politics of it. Where the ethnicity will give you the job, your ethnicity will give you entitlement of something. With that, Ethiopia is not good for the people who are ruling, these are not good for me, and I am fighting, not for my own ethnic group, I am fighting for the freedom of yours as well. Thank you.
So I just...
Coretta, did you want to comment on the...